Hey, it's me again, Steedo. Just before we get this video started, the first 5 DLC 8 giveaway winners are in the description, so check that now to see if you won. I'll see you guys in the video. There are 5 new parallel quests to unlock 8 new super attacks from both, obviously, Gogeta and Broly. Now, as I was recording this, I did do the order different, so you may see that I have some things unlocked before others. For example, the first thing I went for was Gigantic Rage, because that is just so cool. But for this first mission, you unlock Powered Shell and Gigantic Charge. These are both Broly moves, and I will say now, none of Broly's moves have super armor and custom characters. I mean, I don't know why anyone would assume that. They would be broken if they did. The only time they have super armor is when you use them as an evasive. Yes, all of Broly's moves, and I do mean all of them except his ultimate, can be used as an evasive. But because you're using them as evasives, that also means you lose 300 bars, well, 300 stamina, which is 3 bars of stamina. This can be seen as good or bad, but in all honesty, if you hit someone with Powered Shell or Gigantic Rage as an evasive, it's better than, you know, using Spirit Explosion or whatever else you're planning to do, because it really pays off damage-wise and combo-wise. To get the ultimate finish for this mission, which you have to do to get both of Broly's supers, you have to beat the mission in 8 minutes, but they don't tell you you're supposed to also follow some really strict guidelines, such as you need Frieza to abandon Broly in the middle of the battle. All you have to do is beat Frieza up, it's as simple as that. Once he takes enough damage, he'll just abandon Broly in the middle of the battle. Once Frieza's abandoned you, Gogeta will join you in the middle of battle. However, this is completely cosmetic. He doesn't do anything. If he dies, that's fine. If he lives, that's fine. He doesn't contribute anything to the rest of the mission. So frankly, you can just kind of ignore his presence. All you have to do is fight Broly for as long as until Frieza comes back to give him the bad news.
Your father has been slain!
Once Broly's powered up, Frieza will send the Time Patrollers who have similar villainous energy to assist him in battle. All you have to do is beat up Broly, but very slowly, mind you. You have to also take out Time Patrollers while dealing with Broly. You have to injure Broly to a point where he powers up again in this state, and then he'll power up a 3rd time, but it will be a transformation instead of just continuing to stay in dark villainous mode. Once Broly reaches this state, you can actually just attack him as much as you want. We didn't know this at the time, so of course we're still just fighting random Time Patrollers. But you can just attack Broly and completely ignore the Time Patrollers, and even when you beat Broly, these Time Patrollers will still be here. Beating Broly, if you did everything right, should unlock the ultimate finish where he aggressively charges off towards Frieza after realizing what has happened.
Wait! I am Frieza! Have you forgotten I am your master?
Now this last part is actually super easy. It's a 3-on-1. Well, if you bring teammates or AI, it's a 2-on-1. But regardless, there'll be more of you than there is of Broly. He'll be fighting Frieza by himself. All you have to do is make sure Frieza doesn't die. Frieza is quite a tank, but Broly has a tendency to spam his ultimate, and it does an insane amount of damage, and even more damage when his health is lower. I will give this advice for all of the parallel quests that feature full power Broly as your enemy. Don't let him hit any of your teammates with that ultimate. If you see him do the ultimate, stop him immediately by breaking his guards, because he can easily fail all of the parallel quests where you're supposed to protect people just with one hit of his ultimate. It's pretty gross. So again, if you just beat Broly, you get the ultimate finish. That's the end of this mission, and you should be rewarded with Power Shell and Gigantic Charge. And just saying now, you can unlock only one of the two sometimes. You do unlock both moves sometimes, but in my case, I unlocked one and I unlocked the other one later. Meanwhile, my friend unlocked both at the same time when I only unlocked one. So, if you don't unlock one or the other, do it again. And if you unlock, you know, none, just still do it again until you get the move that you want. The next parallel quest is Frieza Force on the Hunt. This parallel quest unlocks you 2 of Gogeta Blue's unique supers, Spirit Blaster and Punisher Shield. Now, Gogeta doesn't have anything weird like Broly where he has super armor or like evasive maneuvers. In all honesty, Gogeta's just more of a good character. He's not overpowered, he's not weak, he's just good. Spirit Blaster is, you know, his ranged Ki Blast, and Punisher Shield is a very, very, very good counter. Of course, people aren't going to use it over Burst Rush or Godbreaker, but I think it's really, really fun. Now, the ultimate finish for this mission is actually super simple compared to the last one where you have to do a bunch of stuff. All you have to do is make sure at least one of the 2 Frieza soldiers, a Pool or Raspberry, has over 50% health at the end of the mission. This is extremely easy to do because a Pool and Raspberry don't actually help you fight. Now, if you're doing this solo, it's probably suicide and you'll never get the ultimate finish. But if you're doing this at least with one other teammate or AI, a Pool and Raspberry will not fight the enemies ever. If the enemy locks onto them, they will not attack the enemy, and if you're locked onto the enemy, they won't attack. Meaning that you can just go completely ape on whatever enemy you feel like. A good example is me just doing whatever I want to Krillin. I can power rush him if I need to. Nothing's going to interrupt me because my other teammate's too busy handling Piccolo. So, you know, a Pool and Raspberry staying above 50% is very easy. Because if, you know, the enemy's targeting you, it's just a one-on-one fight. But if the enemy targeting them, they're just going to keep running away from the enemy and you just get to hit the enemy for free. It's a very, very, very easy PQ. A Pool and Raspberry will abandon you when the ultimate finish does start, so you don't have to worry about their health bars then. And the ultimate finish does include fighting Gotenks and Gogeta to get Gogeta's supers. I think the only challenging part about this PQ is there's this one very tedious part of Goku and Vegeta, and then Gotenks and Vegito later where they just keep coming back and it's just really long. But you'll know when you get the skills at the end of the quest. It will not say you got skill when you beat Gogeta, you'll just have to wait till the end of the quest. You might get one, you might get both like how I did. It's up to RNG. Now this mission is honestly really enjoyable. Legendary Starving Super Saiyan Broly. It's the mission where you unlock Gigantic Rage, which is easily the coolest move in this entire DLC. Not the best, but easily the coolest. The summary of this mission is, no joke, Goku wants to fight Broly, but Broly is too hungry to go all out. I'm sure you can notice because for some reason we've only just started the mission and Broly's health bar is at half. Now, this is already kind of one of the hardest missions just because of that. I would recommend bringing friends regardless of, you know, how good you claim to be. Because the ultimate finish is that Broly needs to stay above 50% health. But you need to fight 6 people for Broly to stay above 50% health and you to get the ultimate finish. Now, to make things easier, the game does heal Broly after like every fight and at the beginning of one other fight. But you should bring other players regardless, because in the first fight you have Hercule and Boo. While Hercule is usually a joke, he seems to spam his dynamic rolling Hercule punch, whatever it's called. And it not only does that give him invincibility frames, but it actually does quite a bit of damage to Broly. And Boo is Boo, so he will hurt Broly if he gets the hands on him.
I'm fine, but I'll leave the rest to you.
After defeating them, Broly will find some chocolate and use it to regain health.
It's chocolate. I'll eat it. I feel power.
This is where bringing a teammate is super essential, because Beerus and Whis are just absolute nightmares on this mission. For one, they're absurdly tanky. Like, they refuse to go down. And Whis loves to prioritize Broly. Now, Beerus loves to do it too, but I'm not sure if it was this mission or the one after. Beerus has headshot, so if Broly ever goes after him, Broly's health is going to drop from that headshot, and it's so annoying. Beerus and Whis also have the tendency to block or perfect block almost every attack you do. They're really, the AI in general is just really good. And they do anything they can to make you fail this. So yeah, you do need teammates for this part mostly, more than anything else in the mission actually, because the AI for these two is extremely good. Once you beat them, Broly will find a donut on Whis or Beerus, and he'll also eat that to regain energy. This donut does heal more than a chocolate at least, so that's good for Broly. And Broly will also be healed another time after meeting up with Goku.
I gotta say, you're looking a lot better. Your energy's way higher than the last time I ran into you.
Fun fact, did you know we're actually halfway through the video? If that interests you, you can leave a like. Genuinely though, leaving a like does actually help me and the rest of the channel out. It also gets my videos recommended so other people can see this and hopefully also enjoy my content. So if you can, please do leave a like. Goku turned Super Saiyan Blue to face Yu and Broly, but Vegeta decided that Goku might need a meat shield.
Mine alone to defeat.
After beating Goku and Vegeta, Broly will get a power-up and turn against you, becoming your new opponent. As a response to Broly's betrayal, Goku and Vegeta fuse into Gogeta. Now, again, just like the last time, Gogeta's relevancy in the quest is just purely cosmetic. While he doesn't have nerfed damage, meaning all of the damage he does is actually useful, he's still useless. If he dies, the quest goes on, and if he lives, the quest goes on. He doesn't really change or add anything. The main thing about this ultimate finish is that it brings back everyone you did beat. This includes Hercule, Majin Buu, and of course, Beerus and Whis. At least you didn't have to defend Broly this time. In fact, beating Broly is actually what gets you Gigantic Rage. It is not from the end screen, it's from killing him. You do need to do the ultimate finish, however, otherwise you can't beat him. But once you beat him, you will get the skill. And it has to say you got skill. It's not one of those things where you have to wait till the end screen. So, say for example, you're doing this offline with AI, and you beat Broly and it says you didn't get any skill. Just restart the quest. And if you're doing this online, you might as well complete it, because restarting the quest means restarting the entire game. So, again, once you get to the ultimate finish, which means Broly needs to be above 50% health by the time you beat Blue Goku and Blue Vegeta. Defeat Broly, you can do that first, you can do that last. It happens in any order, it's just RNG. But if it says you got a skill when you beat Broly, that means you did unlock Gigantic Rage, and you must beat... I mean, you don't have to beat Beerus and Whis, you can lose there and still get it. But I would recommend beating them up just for the trouble they gave you.
That was fun. I think I'll have sweet dreams tonight.
The next parallel quest is Fight of the Fusions Vegeta vs Gogeta to unlock Assault Vanish. Assault Vanish is a weird move. I don't think many people will use it. I think it'll be heavily slept on for probably the game's entire life. But if anything, Assault Vanish is probably one of the best moves in the game, just because of what you can add to it. A good example is with Blue Gogeta. He has a Super Soul that gives him max ki at the start of the fight. So essentially, at the start of the fight, you can Assault Vanish behind someone and then just do Super Mad Dance instantly. It's a very good move, but I don't feel like this community would use it. At least because it costs 1 bar of stamina and 1 bar of ki just to use it. So it doesn't matter how good it is, so long as it drains stamina, it's not really worth it. However, I'd recommend picking up Assault Vanish just because there may be that 1 in a million chance where you think, you know, this might actually help me out here. Not to mention, it's actually a good way of avoiding damage while your stamina broken, but if you're doing that, you'd probably just put on Free Bomber or Sneaky Strike instead. After helping Vegito beat up Janemba and Omega Shenron and helping Gogeta beat up Fuse Damasu and Buhan, you go back to the lookout to face them both at the same time. Now I will say, this is easily the longest parallel quest in the game. The ultimate finish for this is simply just beat it in under 10 minutes and 30 seconds. To further show how long this PQ is, they give you 20 minutes to beat this entire mission. I thought, like, this mission is so long. This part I'm doing right now where you fight them at the end, this isn't the end of the parallel quest. There's another fight after this. I thought this was the end. I'm showing you this as retrospect, because that means we spent 8 minutes fighting everything else. This is such a long PQ. And after Vegito and Gogeta, you have to fight Broly and Keғʟa. And after Broly and Keғʟa, you have to fight Vegito and Gogeta again. It's an extremely long quest. I would say mostly just bring things that are meant for damage and obviously capsules. You don't really need teammates for this one, but at the same time you don't want to run out of time, so you might as well. Keep an eye on the timer, because if you did everything right after beating the final enemy in the Kami's lookout, it will give you finish and open one more portal that leads to just the sky area where you'll face Gogeta and Vegeta one last time. The order of who you kill doesn't matter. So long as Gogeta dies, Gogeta will drop his equipment, which could be a Super Soul or his clothes. In this case, I think I got a Super Soul and his clothes. His attack, well, it's more of an other skill. Assault Vanish will only drop as an ultimate finish reward. It won't drop from Gogeta like Broly's did when it says you got skill. it will only drop as an ultimate finish reward. So again, you need to beat the entire quest and then check the end result screen to see if you got it. And now the last PQ of the DLC, the Ultimate Legendary Super Saiyan. This PQ is very tough. Not in terms of difficulty per se, but if you want to get God's Punisher and Gigantic Roar, both Gogeta and Broly's unique ultimates, you have a lot to do. So basically for this PQ, you need to keep Dragon Ball Z Broly, the original Broly, at above 50% health by the time you beat, you know, the first half of the PQ. Now, here is the extremely hard part about this. The first few enemies you face are, again, the Super Saiyan children and Beerus and Whis. And Beerus and Whis have the exact same, you know, AI they do have last time, where they just aggressively hunt Broly and target him down and do as much as they can to mess you up. The second fight's a bit easier. It's just Keғʟa and keфlaʼ, and it's just 2 people. It's not 3 people at the same time, like, you know, Whis, Beerus, and Piccolo, and all those other people. So Keғʟa and keфlaʼ, you can handle them, and keфlaʼ's ultimate is pretty slow. Even if you get hit by it, you can just use an evasive and break her stamina before she fires the blast. And Keғʟa's just a joke of a character. The hardest part about the PQ, I will say, is easily the end of the PQ. The end of the PQ has you fight full power Broly and Goku and Vegeta all at the same time. Now, the reason why this is extremely hard is because Goku and Vegeta do more damage to your Broly, and full power Broly will just unapologetically cream pie your Broly and prevent you from getting the ultimate finish, which you need to get God Punisher, Gogeta's ultimate. In tandem with that, the drop chance for Broly's ultimate, Gigantic Roar, is very low. The only 2 times it dropped for me is one time where I beat Broly, but then I failed the mission because the Broly I was defending died from Goku and Vegeta's absurd damage buff that they have against him. And the other time was when I eventually did actually beat the mission. You'll know when you got Gigantic Roar because the game will tell you got skill. The same applies for Gogeta. Once you beat him, it should also say you got skill. If it doesn't say you got skill for either the first stage of Broly or for Gogeta's appearance, that means you just didn't get it, period, and you do have to redo it. It does need to say you got skill. However, what makes getting Gogeta's one more annoying than Broly's one is simply the fact that you actually do need to beat this quest. It does mean you have to get through the Goku and Vegeta that do more damage to Broly than already, and they go Super Saiyan to just interrupt everything while you're doing that. It's so annoying. It's usually just based on whoever has less health, whoever goes Super Saiyan first between Goku and Vegeta. But of course, it couldn't be simple. After beating Goku and Vegeta, a certain amount of time will pass and they'll just resurrect to Super Saiyan Blues, and of course they do even more damage than before, especially to Broly. So if they touch him once, you basically miss out on God Punisher. I would say the best way to counteract this when you're doing it is, if you're doing it with just 2 people, always ask your teammate or your friend how many things are locking onto you right now, because at least one of you needs to have 2 enemies locking onto you. Because if there's not 2 enemies locking onto you, that means something's locked onto Broly, and Broly will lose or die or fall below 50% health, and that means you instantly lose it. So after beating the Super Saiyan Blues with DBZ Broly having over 50% health, the literal second coming of Broly will happen. He will just resurrect and he'll be stronger than before. Again, you do need to watch out for his mouth beams, because if he kills your teammate Broly, especially now that he's powered up, it is a one-shot by this point. It is over, and you do lose the chance for Gogeta's supers. So I would suggest prioritizing Broly first. While Gogeta again obviously does increase damage to your Broly, this guy has the potential to one-shot him, so who do you think's more of a threat? After dealing with full power Super Saiyan Broly, obviously, you know, when you have the time, rush down Gogeta. And we were lucky this time because we did this about 3 times and we didn't get anything. So here you can see it, Gogeta's thing is a skill drop. It does drop from Gogeta himself, not from the end reward screen. You do beat Gogeta, and if it says you got skill, that means you did unlock it. That is all of the skills of DLC 8 Extra Pack 4. All I can ask is leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it or if the video helped. Share this video with friends or other people that you're trying to, you know, help get these moves with. Because genuinely, this was kind of tough. I think it was 2 hours worth of recording to get all of these moves. And that's when I was rushing as fast as I can with my brother. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you like this. Subscriptions do really matter. As well as ask any questions you can in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer all questions possible because I did do this for a while, so I feel like my experience on it should be, you know, helpful. So any questions you have, just ask. And that's pretty much it. I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.